Hello, Miklos Fodor speaking about the rapid repeated restructuring paradigm. In the previous presentations, there were many ideas why systems perceive differently the universe or the objective physical environment. We also have discussed that systems and their subsystems are always restructuring. Links are seized, they are reconnecting. We have discussed also the notion of autopoiesis. Another issue was the question of the point of perspective. We look at the pyramid. We see different if we look at from the bottom or from the side or from the top or from the different sides. How can we be sure that this object is the same, even if the same person in different time points is looking at the same object? We have also discussed in the previous chapters that in two different time points the same object looks also the same, even if the point of perspective didn't change, because inside this system things have changed due to the restructuring. This produces a different output from the same inputs coming from, for example, the visual inputs delivers a totally different output in time point 1 and in time point 2 due to the pattern of links in the two different times. These very many changes and always restructuring is not really fitting to our experience, that during a basketball match we always see the same ball as a constant same object, and when in the same basketball match passing to my teammate the basketball, he knows that's a basketball, so we can cooperate. And the basis of cooperation is the constantness of objects. Even if once I see the ball very big just because it's too close to me, and in other cases physically I see it small because it's far away, or when I'm afraid of a lion, I see it very big in the zoo, the same lion. I see it a small, bigger cat because it's behind his cage. So the perception depends on the situation, not only by time, by physical location, but also by situation, which other cognitive schema are active in my mind influences the activation of the same schema. So how can that happen? To understand this, first I would like you to introduce a notion, a very, very important and paradigmatic notion introduced by one of the biggest psychologists, cognitive psychologists, called Jean Piaget, who introduced the notion of constructivism. It's a learning theory, meaning that it helps us understand the environment, and this is the way how children understand the world around them. Constructivism, as you can read on the Wikipedia or from other sources, introduces a constant trial-error method to depict the environment, saying that I see an object, that object is depicted, so it's modeled in my mind, using this constantness of those things that often appear in the same situation. The child learns that the object is a constant one object, even if it sees the ball in his mother's hands or on the floor, on a table. After a while, can detach the image of the ball from its environment, and in such way the notion of the ball, or the cognitive schema of the ball, is created as something in common in between different situations. If I would like to show it this way, so this is the situation when the ball is in the mother's hand. Here is a ball on the floor, here is a ball on the table, but in the middle, what is common? That there is a ball. And this is the way how the constructivist psychologists think that a notion or an object can be perceived as constant and as independent from other things. If you have such a way a ball, and we can define also other objects, and then building on these objects, we can connect them. Let's say that this is a stick, and I have created the cognitive schema of the stick. The stick together with the ball can be a new toy. I'm hitting like the pool, billiard pool or snooker pool. You can imagine a pyramid based on different connections of these basic perceptions. This is a totally workable concept. It's just the problem that I'm so alone in my world, just because of different things appear more often. Like Robinson on an island, being alone, yes, after a while, can create his own world. And every child could create its own world. Based on the constructivist theory. But the fact that there is cooperation cannot be explained by the constructivist approach. Because if constructivists would be true, in that case each person would have his or her own word. The ball would be labeled in a case as ball, in another case it would be labda, what is the Hungarian word for for the ball, and it would be the situation like multilingual lingual people when they meet from different languages and they have no common language. They cannot cooperate because everybody has its own word depicting, labeling those objects that they see, and they learn different relationships in between these objects. Somebody who has lived his full life in snow around the North Pole will have a very different cognitive schema about snow, especially to somebody who was living in the jungle and has never met snow. So when they face a situation that they have to cooperate, they have to build say a snowball or a snowman, they are almost unable to cooperate. This situation is solved by that principle that was introduced in the previous chapters, that living systems try to attach themselves and to form new systems. So here is a living system, here's another one. This is the guy from the North Pole, this is the guy from the jungle, and in order to cooperate they have to do something like this, to merge their efforts, to join their efforts, to merge their resources, to merge their cognitive schema, and together maybe they will solve an operation. For example, building a palm tree from snow. This guy knows how a palm tree looks like. This guy knows what you can do with snow. Together they can then build a palm tree from snow, from ice, whatever. And this is the case with one sole person. These guys, you might remember that this A is the same person, is looking at the same object just from different viewpoints or in different time points. When this cognitive schema that they have created about this object, say this guy has built something like this, let's see, a triangle. No, sorry, yeah, a triangle because he looked from the bottom. This guy has built something like this, a triangle with one line. This one from above has built a triangle like this. And in order to depict best way the environment, they have to merge these living systems. This living system, this one, this one. Something like together. It's by purpose that when you learn to make technical drawings, then you put together 2 or 3 dimensional projections of the same object. This is the same case, because based on the 2-dimensional projections, you can build up a 3-dimensional object. And here you see that it's not too much difference between what happens within one mind and in the connection of 2 minds. So the same principles apply when one person puts together the puzzle and it's A, or here when there are 2 persons, or here if there would be a a person B and a person C. In the case of companies, it's very, very clear. You can observe this. There is an environment, a business environment or a business situation, and in order to react as on a company level the best way, the production person, the technical person, the finance person, and say the marketing person has to merge their points of view to create a common action plan or a strategy. That's what I'm calling cooperative constructivism, because constructivism in itself, it's not enough to describe the adaptation and how living systems behave. And that question, that why do people have to communicate? Why is it important that the technical person should talk to the marketing person and the marketing person to the finance and so on? Cooperation is based on communication. So this physical merger of the two systems, in case of physically separated bodies, in the case of two people, it's impossible. But through communication, exactly that things happens that I made here earlier, that I have copied this cognitive schema. You might remember something, I did something like this. Or, yeah. Okay, I don't want to do it once again. Just this copying and pasting is communication. So when I'm speaking to somebody, then the cognitive schemas I have in my mind, I make a copy. Okay, I translate them into words, but words are also cognitive schemas. They are labels of cognitive schemas, and I drop them into a common box. In this common box, we can start to manipulate this point of views and to integrate and create a new integrated one that uses and incorporates the previous ones. I mean the different point of views. So this happens in between people, intermind, so within a mind, but it happens the same with companies. When companies are cooperating, say a big multinational company asks a market researcher company or hires a market research company to create a detailed model of the market, where here is the big market where this company is active, but has no resources to depict or to create a good enough model of this market. So they are hiring a consulting company which creates a simplified copy of this market, and that's what I'm calling a model. Delivers to this company. Maybe they have a brainstorming with this company's own cognitive schema or knowledge, or with other companies, say an HR consulting company or banks, financial informations, they put together, and in this kind of common box, they mix it, they create a puzzle, and they create an integrated new living system. What is a cognitive schema? And that cognitive schema is the action plan on how this company should act on this market. Thank you very much for your time.